Hi, today we're going to paint a two-color vignette background rock painting ideas. Welcome to George on the Rocks, where stress release is just one rock painting away. The colors I'm using today are phthalo blue, cadmium yellow light, and titanium white. But if you want, you can always switch up the colors. I'm using a natural bristle brush to paint in a layer of phthalo blue around the circumference of the stone, as well as a mixture of white and cadmium yellow light for the base layer upon which the blending of the greens will take place. For the blending of the greens, I will be using a small synthetic round brush. Use whatever size is good for you. Before we start blending in the greens, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, it'll really help my channel. Thanks a lot. Now, being a self-taught artist, I've had the pleasure of exploring different ways to do different things. One of these things is blending. There are as many ways to blend as there are artists out there to blend. No one way is the right way, just as there is no one right way to paint. You do what feels comfortable to you. The rock painting ideas that I present to you are suggestions, tips, and ideas. At the end of the day, you need to experiment and grow on your own style. For me, I like to have the paint be as wet as possible, which means adding a little bit of water every so often, damping it down on a piece of paper, towel, or a napkin, anything to absorb most of the water. You focus in on, say, more yellow, or more green, or more blue, and blend it into each other. Allow things to dry every so often, because remember, the paint will dry 1 to 2 shades darker, but the more you paint, the more practice you have, you'll be able to guesstimate how darker or lighter you should go. Sorry if my voice sounds a little more raspier or scratchy, but I worked today and it's been a long day, but I really love doing these videos and I need to keep on my schedule. Normally I would do the voiceover on an off day, but unfortunately I had to work today. So bear with me, and hopefully it won't be that bad. Blending with acrylics is a lot different than blending with oils or watercolor. Watercolor is very transparent, where oils are more opaque, generally speaking. In a future video, what I plan on doing is creating a watercolor-like transparency using acrylics, but that's for another time. Now, the reason why you use a little bit of water, very little bit of water, with your acrylics is to improve the flow and the ability to apply the acrylic paint more easily. But another benefit of having a little bit of water in your brush is to thin it out just enough to act as a glaze. You don't want to have your brush sopping wet, just damp enough to act as a glaze for your paint. To me, blending is fun. You're experimenting. And when you experiment, you tend to loosen up. When I paint and I'm in the zone, it allows me to relax, to let the troubles and problems of the day kind of melt away. And if there's a little bit of music in the background, that reinforces the relaxation. Now, sometimes I will get frustrated sometimes with something that may be not be going my way as far as what I want to accomplish, or how I think it should go along, but that's me getting in my own way. But when that ever happens, I just close my eyes, take a deep breath, and continue painting. Like, for example, the green here was going well, but I wanted it to have a little bit more of a yellowish cast so I could build up the layers. So I stopped, took a breath, and then added a little bit more yellow. Remember, if after you're done you don't like it, with acrylics you can just go over it again. Because remember, one of the joys of acrylics is the ability to apply layer upon layer upon layer. For example, with this two-color vignette background, I could apply layers and layers and layers, but I'm approaching it from the point of view of, once I do a couple of layers, you get the general idea, and then you can do it for yourself and apply as many layers as you want. Now remember, this is a vignette background. You want to have the center be as light as possible, gradually working out toward dark as possible. This contrast between light and dark is what gives the background a sense of mystery and dynamic. You can approach it any number of ways. For example, you could have the center be really bright and blend out just a little bit to the darkness around the circumference. But you could also have a little bit of brightness and then gradually build out to the darkness of the circumference. It all depends upon how you want the blend to look. Ask yourself, what am I going to use this stone for? And if you don't know, then eventually when you use it for an actual rock painting, the rock painting will speak to itself. That's why I like to paint various background stones all at the same time. Sometimes I'll have an idea from the beginning, sometimes not so much. And I'll be rediscovering the blended stone all new. If you like this video, even with my raspy voice, and found it entertaining or educational, please subscribe and give it a thumbs up. As always, it's been a pleasure. Celebrate each other, celebrate your creative inner voice, and paint along the way.